Let's talk to Lib Dem MP and spokesman on Home Affairs issues, Christine Jardine, who joins us. Good morning to you, Christine.
Good morning, Julia.
Good morning. Lovely to speak to you. Face masks, is it right to make them compulsory?
I think that they're already compulsory in Scotland and we get used to them. It's a very difficult one. You would hope that people would wear face masks, but it's very, very difficult in the current situation to enforce things or to look at what is best. And I think if we all wear face masks, then apart from anything else, we're protecting one another. I'm protecting you if I meet you because I might have COVID-19, and you're protecting me because you might have COVID-19.
And we know the majority of people who've got the virus don't have any symptoms, so therefore don't know. But this is the thing, isn't it? It's whether or not they should. Oh no. But there's a difference between people being told. I mean, back in March, remember, we were told by Chris Whitty, the chief medical officer, we should not. It was categorical. It wasn't that you can wear them. We don't wear them. We're not sure. It was you should not wear masks. Now we know that advice has been developing and information has been coming in from the real world example of countries around the world. Now the advice is to wear masks, but to actually have it enforceable. Michael Gove was saying at the weekend, the Cabinet Office Minister, that it was it was a matter of good manners to wear a mask in an enclosed space to protect others. But now the decision is going to be announced today by the Health Secretary that it's going to become compulsory. Do you agree that it should be mandated by law that people should wear them in shops? Oh, Christine, I don't know. I think the line may well have just dropped off. Oh, Christine, can you hear me?
I found you again.
Oh, we've got you again. The joys of FaceTime and Zoom. Do you think the difference is whether or not we should wear them or not? Do you think it should be enforced by law?
I think that one of the problems we have at the moment is that the government is saying one thing one day and another thing another, and we had, as you've just been saying, that we had advice earlier in the year that we shouldn't wear them, and now we've got them. I think in this we should be encouraging people. I think it's very difficult to enforce something like this by law, but we have to make. People have been making a lot of comments about civil liberties and things, and I'm always the first, as you know, civil liberties are hugely important to me, but I think in this we have to think about health and preventing another peak with face masks. Sorry, not another peak with face masks, another peak of this virus, which could be very dangerous for all of us. And I think what we're looking at the moment is a way of clarifying the situation. I know I have found it at times. I mean, I hear the government every day, and I hear the advice every day. And it's the same in Scotland. I hear the advice, from Nicola Sturgeon every day. But what we need is clarity. And what we need is not for the government to say on Sunday, no, we don't want you to wear face masks. And then, by Tuesday, they're talking about making it law. Yeah. What we need is clarity and to follow the advice so people know what's the best thing to do. Is it the best thing to wear a face mask or not? That's what we need to know.
And this is where we
scientific evidence to be followed at all times.
But that's the case, isn't it? The scientific evidence has changed over the weeks and the months, and no doubt will change in the future as well. Let's also talk about another announcement that we've had, which is Priti Patel, the Home Secretary. This is on your brief, of course, as a spokesperson on Home Affairs regarding the immigration system. Big row almost immediately over the people who are on these health visas, which are excluded from the salary cap. And basically, where the people have specific skills that they're needed, they can be put on a fast track visa scheme. But most care home workers are not going to be on that scheme. Should they be?
I think my main problem with this visa is that it doesn't value people properly. We've seen through this pandemic that the people that we have relied on in this country to save lives, who've put themselves right at the front line of it, have been, the very people who are excluded from this healthcare visa, this fast-track visa. All the healthcare workers, the assistants, the people who've been catching COVID-19, and many of them dying from it because they've been putting themselves in the front line. Now, what we need to do is respect what people do. We need to value what people do, and I think the government need to look at this again. It seems to me grossly unfair to put a burden on people of looking after us, and then when it's time to respect that and reward it and recognise it, they're not doing it. And I think they really need to think again about this.
This is something I hear actually from Lib Dems and Labour all the time. This idea that it's not valuing people, you said, and these people who put themselves in the front line. I don't think there are many people who went, do you know what, I'm going to go into care work. So in the hope that if there is a pandemic, I can be the hero. These are people who are doing a difficult job. It's not a well-paid job, but I mean, you're saying we should respect and value people. You can respect and value someone, but also acknowledge that their job is not necessarily a highly qualified or highly skilled job in the sense that there are large barriers to entry and entry requirements where people got to have a degree in a particular subject or anything like that. You can still value and respect people, but not think that they necessarily are going to be worth being paid 50 grand a year. The reality is this visa system is about, are these people that we need in this country, of value to British people and the British economy, and low paid care workers with low skills in terms of qualifications and ability to do other jobs, I'm afraid, are not of high economic value to this country. Isn't that the explanation?
I love the way you use the phrase high economic value.
Well, I'm sure they're good people, but I'm saying we're talking about economic value.
You're making my point for me. You're talking about economic value. And you're saying, these people don't perform an economic function. Well,
I didn't say they didn't perform an economic function. I'm saying that people who are on minimum wage aren't net taxpayers. They're unlikely to ever be more than to be a net taxpayer, and therefore they'll be taking more from the economy than they give back. And that's why they're not in this fast track visa system. This is about immigration being of benefit to the British people rather than of benefit only to the person who arrives in the country.
Well, actually, if you think about it, they are of great benefit to this country, because without them, we would have 120,000 vacancies to fill in the NHS, and the NHS would be a breaking point.
We've got mass unemployment coming. We're going to have plenty of people to do that job.
Unemployment. Julia, the NHS over the last 6 months, over the last 4 months particularly, would have been at breaking point without these 120,000 people. So I value them. The value they have brought to this country is that they have been able to save lives. Now, it does depend how you value people. And to me, their economic value is not just about, how much money they earn. It's about what they do for the country. Now, our economy is also going to be in a bad way. And if we start throwing out people who are keeping
no one's throwing anyone out. No one's throwing anyone out.
If we don't
Christine, Christine.
Julia, if we do not
no
give
one
them
is
visas,
throwing
they will
anyone
have to
out.
leave.
If you already live in this country, you've got a right to stay in this country.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
They can apply. That you know perfectly
well. You
don't
have the right to remain.
You have to apply to establish your right to remain, to prove that you were here already. That's a right to remain.
But you just said anybody who's in this country has the right to remain. They don't.
Well, they do. You just have to fill out a form. It's not unreasonable.
You don't have to fill out a form. It takes you a long time, and you have to qualify. And under this visa system, they wouldn't. They would have to leave. That's one of the things that the Liberal Democrats are campaigning for.
That's simply untrue.
To give these people the right to remain. Indefinite leave to remain is crucial in this. And this fast-track visa system doesn't allow that. It doesn't provide visas for the people who are, coming to this country and who are in this country and who are providing a vital service for you and I and our elderly.
There's a very different thing between people who are not already here and people who are already here from the EU, as well look, we're running out of time, but just finally, do you think there's any prospect you're going to get any change with this? Tories still got a majority of 80. People voted in a Tory government in December, and one of the things they voted for in terms of Brexit was also control over our immigration system. Any chance you're going to change this?
Well, we got massive changes to the domestic abuse bill because the government listened, because they saw the change. Now, circumstances have changed. And we have a lot of people in this country who are fed up with this government because they voted for this government, as you said. But 3 million of them who voted for this government are now getting no support through COVID-19. Business people, self-employed people, they're getting absolutely no support. And that is why you're seeing a change of direction in the way that people are thinking in this country. Okay. People have gone out for 10 weeks and clapped the very people that this system that Priti Patel is suggesting would not help, would not support. These are the people that we need to be thanking.
Can I just remind you of the change in circumstances in the polls, which actually puts the Liberal Democrats on 6%, down from 12%?
But that's not what we're talking about.
No, but you just said people change their views, and you're representing one particular viewpoint, and I'm just simply pointing out to my listeners that there may well have been a change of viewpoint, but it hasn't been good for the Lib Dems who are espousing the values that you're talking about.
Well, no, I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. I think the values that I'm talking about are exactly the values that as we go through this, as people see the damage that's been done to the economy, as people see what we're facing in this country and how badly this government is handling it, changing its mind, as you said yourself, from Sunday to Monday about whether or not we wear face masks,
things will may change.
Its minds about all sorts of things.
Okay, Christine, we'll have to leave it there. I do apologise. Christine Jardine, Lib Dem MP, spokeswoman on Home Affairs. 7:19 is the time.